Welcome to The Explainer. We are literally sitting at a massive, undeniable inflection point right now, and I couldn't be more excited to break this down for you. The sheer, staggering scale of the AI industry is violently clashing with brand new friction. We're talking regulatory, political, and technical roadblocks. And it's all happening at the exact moment a revolutionary new workflow is emerging that could, quite frankly, change how we interact with computers forever. Let's just dive right into this with a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. 1 billion. Google CEO Sundar Pichai just announced the Gemini app hit 1 billion monthly users. It's officially their fastest-growing product ever. And these aren't just passive users, right? They're generating over 150 million images every single day on Androids and across the ecosystem. But here's the really fascinating caveat critics are pointing out. A huge chunk of those users don't even realize they're relying on an AI model that's sitting about 6 months behind the frontier edge. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, scaling up the AI economy. Second, watermarks, warnings, and friction. Third, the arrival of GrokBot. Fourth, how GrokBot actually works. And finally, trust, cost, and reality. Let's kick things off with Section 1, scaling up the AI economy. Infrastructure boom. Because the user base powering this whole industry is currently exploding at a rate that's honestly hard to comprehend. It's totally fascinating to break down exactly how those 1 billion Gemini users are actually interacting with AI today. A whopping 63% of them are completely ditching the keyboard. They're going straight for the voice interface. It's wild. It really suggests that right now, sheer distribution and convenience are actually beating out frontier product capabilities. People just want to talk to their phones, and they'll happily use whatever model is already natively in their hands.
And behind the scenes? The capital moving to support this compute is just staggering. I mean, NVIDIA is literally using its GPUs as collateral for a massive $500 billion debt financing platform with Apollo and BlackRock. Think about that scale for a second. Meanwhile, OpenRouter has triggered this insane $10 billion bidding war with players like Snowflake fighting to snap them up. And then you have Moneus. Chinese regulators actually forced them to unwind a $2 billion acquisition by Meta, so they have to return as an independent company by August 25th. The financial scale and the geopolitical maneuvering going on here is just immense.
Which brings us to Section 2, watermarks, warnings, and friction, regulatory roadblocks. Because as everything scales up financially, the industry is slamming headfirst into some massive political pushback. Case in point, a highly controversial new policy from Anthropic, which is largely driven by their commitment to the EU AI Act. Anthropic is rolling out invisible watermarking for all AI-generated text across all their models globally. Now, to be clear, this isn't just a tag in the metadata, and it doesn't matter if you don't even live in the EU. It is a permanent statistical signature, a constrained choice of tokens, embedded directly into the text itself, so it can be traced and it completely persists even if you copy and paste the output. Well, as you might guess, this sparked an immediate, furious backlash from the developer community. You've got developers like Nick calling it a diabolical precedent when it comes to writing code bases. Simon Smith brought up a pretty terrifying scenario. He expressed sheer terror that Claude might subtly alter direct quotes from legal documents just to make the statistical watermark fit. And users like Zorf are super concerned about restricted creativity and a drop in overall quality. Now, actually, Google's Gemini has been doing something similar since early 2024, but knowing that hasn't exactly calmed down the developers who rely heavily on Anthropic's models for super precise work. And it's not just developers sounding the alarm. The political temperature is definitely rising fast. Senator Bernie Sanders officially joined the pause movement. He sent a pretty stern warning letter to Sam Altman, Dario Madej, and Mark Zuckerberg, citing incidents like the Hugging Face hack and expressing some deep fears about AI potentially being used to create novel bioweapons. The message from Washington is crystal clear here. The friction is absolutely going to increase.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 3, the arrival of GrokBot, agentic breakthrough. Because despite all those macro-level roadblocks we just talked about, user-level product innovation just hit an incredibly thrilling milestone.
For months, people have been pulling their hair out over the intense technical complexity of agent tools like OpenClaw. It was just tough to use. But the newly announced GrokBot, developers are absolutely raving about it. A user named Val Singh actually described it perfectly. They said it's less like an AI assistant and more like the intern who became CEO overnight. So how did they pull this off? GrokBot is a collaborative foundation built by Cursor and SpaceX AI, and its absolute brilliance is in abstraction. It uses this super simple Telegram-style chat interface to completely hide incredibly complex cloud computing. You literally just chat with it, and it operates in the background on its very own virtual computer. You can even spin up multiple, individually named bots, and they just seamlessly coordinate and message each other like a unified team while you just go about your work.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, how GrokBot actually works, mechanics of AI agents. Let's unpack exactly why this specific tool is capturing the attention of the entire developer ecosystem right now.
The real magic here is the native integration, and it happens in 3 distinct steps. First, GrokBot can literally watch your screen while you perform a task. Second, it saves that exact workflow as a repeatable routine, learning and iterating on edge cases over time. And third, it autonomously operates software. It doesn't even need APIs. It just uses human interfaces to click and type into websites on its virtual machine. This specific workflow actually allowed Cursor's Ricky Dorr to completely automate 20% of his entire job right out of the gate.
To really picture this in action, listen to some of these vivid anecdotes from users testing this out. Mike P. was in sheer shock when the bot natively accessed his local Mac folder without him having to click a single UI toggle. It just asked for permission and handled it. Tesla's Unisai used it to navigate a website and book dual-language dinner reservations while he was literally just walking to his car. Matt Schumer successfully deployed a complete 3-bot team, a researcher, a writer, and a chief of staff, and they coordinated perfectly on day 1. Another user named Presence literally just handed the bot a GitHub link, and it autonomously pulled and broke down the entire codebase. This is real agentic workflow happening right now.
But let's move into Section 5, trust, cost, and reality, grounding the hype. Because we have to be real here, no tool is absolutely perfect right out of the box. When you juxtapose the effortless magic against the actual baggage, the downsides are pretty significant. Yes, you get native OS integration and zero API setup, but on the flip side, some users like Ben Berry really don't trust the Grok brand association. Everyday sites like Walmart are actively blocking GrokBot's data center IPs. Power users like Gurbak Shaha are complaining about context amnesia and token burns during longer projects, and right now it is heavily price-gated, running between $200 and $300 a month. And that brings us to the ultimate hurdle, which Peter Yang highlighted perfectly. How do you get regular users to trust a remote computer with their actual credentials? Seriously, consider that massive security hurdle for a second. When I was testing this out, I had a moment of intense hesitation before I gave GrokBot access to my Spotify creator account. You're not just tossing over an API key. You are handing full control of your account to an autonomous agent. The sheer fear of what a single errant, fully autonomous click might accidentally delete or mess up, that gave me serious pause. So, I want to end today's explainer by leaving you with a really provocative realization from Fletcher Richmond. He pointed out that building dozens of these vanity teammate bots might actually be totally counterproductive and end up stalling out your workflows. It forces us to step back and ask a critical question. Is the future of work going to be this sprawling ecosystem of independent AI consultants, or is it going to evolve into one massive unified company brain? It's a massive paradigm shift, and I really encourage you to think about how you're going to integrate these tools into your own life moving forward. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.